Hi, this is Vikas Singh from Horizon, and today's video I'm going to take you to the VMware vCenter 6 installation and configurations. So in this demo we will install VMware vCenter 6.0 and also we will do some post installation and configuration task which is required after installing vCenter 6 in your infrastructure. And if you need our help to set up VMware infrastructure for you, you can contact us. Our contact details is given below in descriptions. Our highly technical engineers are there ready to help you without any cost. So this is my demo environment which we are going to use to give you the demo for installing vCenter infrastructure 6.0. So we are using basically 3 virtual machines here. You can see the first virtual machine is a Active Directory server which is Win2K12 DC01, and we have a one vCenter server which is vCenter 6, and we are using one ESXi host. So let's check the servers. So the first server which is Win2K12 DC01, which is my Active Directory server. Here you can see Active Directory and DNS role is running on this machine. If I go to local server, you can see the domain name is horizon.co, the computer name is Win2K12 DC01, and the IP address is 192.168.1.254, which is given in slide. And here you can see the second machine is vCenter 6, which is joined in my domain, which is horizon.co, 20 gig of RAM. You can see and validate the things. So this is a fresh machine which we have installed the Windows Server 2012 R2, and just rename this machine and join this machine in domain after the configuring the IP address. And you can see it's have a 20 gig of RAM. Make sure you have at least 8 gig of RAM to install a vCenter 6.0, which is minimum requirement for installing vCenter 6. And we have last machine which is ESXi host, ESXi 01, which is running also on VMware 6.0, and this is the machine. Here you can see ESXi 6.0, which is IP address and hostname is configured. So we'll see step-by-step installation and configuration vCenter 6.0. So the first task, we need to rename vCenter server and join machine in domain and restart. So we have already done this task. You can see here this machine is already joined in my domain, so horizon.co, and we have logged in with the domain account which is vCenter admin. If I go here on cmd, type who am I, it will give you the horizon/vCenter admin. So this is the domain admin account, and this is also member of domain. So and next task, we need to install a vCenter 6 on a server. So we have already mounted the vCenter 6 installation media. You can see here, just open it, and you can see here we have a auto run. Double click on it, then you will get the vCenter 6 installer. So we have here multiple options like VMware vCenter 6 installation for Windows. You can see here vCenter desktop client. We have here vSphere update manager server, download everything. So for now we are focusing on vCenter server installation for Windows. So click on it, install. Now you can see it's initiate the background installation process, and it will take some time to give you the pop-up wizard for vCenter 6.0 installation. And now you can see it's initializing the process installer to get this start the VMware vCenter 6 installation. So we need to wait for a few seconds here. So click next to install the vCenter 6.0.0 installation. So click next, and I accept the license agreement. Click next, and here you can see we have a two type of deployment in vCenter 6.0. So the first is vCenter server with embedded platform service controller. So embedded platform service controller is basically which contains, you can see the shared services which is like single sign-on, licensing, certificate management, and everything, which is handled by platform service controller. And vCenter server is a server which is managing the vCenter infrastructure and VMware infrastructure. So we have option to extend this deployment by hosting the each role on different server, and we can make it together. So I'm going to use the default embedded system, which is embedded deployment. So click next, and here's the server name, vCenter 6 origin.co. Click next. And here you can see we have a create a new vCenter single sign-on domain. So this is going to create on your vCenter infrastructure. So make sure you are remembering the password, because first time when you are going to log into vCenter infrastructure, it will ask for this credential only. So type the site name, click next. We have to make sure password is complex. Now we have a vCenter service account, so I'm going to run it with Windows local system account. So click next, and also you can define the service account, like if you have created a generic service account for this when vCenter server. So we have already created this vCenter infrastructure admin, so we are going to use the local system account. Click next, and we have a database selection here. So you need to select, if you're having any SQL database or any other database, you can go ahead and select the external database here. And for now we are going to use the embedded database, which is running on vProcess. So click next, and we have all the ports information. So we have to make sure we have enabled these ports in inbound and outbound on vCenter server to avoid any issue after deployment and management. So click next. Now we have a destination directory for VMware, vCenter server and embedded server. So click next, leave the default. If you want to change it, you can go ahead and change it. And here we have ready to install. This is giving all the information which we have just selected during the installation wizard. So let's click on install to launch the installation. So this installation will take around 15 to 20 minutes to get the installation done. And now you can see here on task manager, if I go to performance, you can see it's around taking 1 gig memory for now. Once the installation is done, it will going to take around 8 gig or more RAM memory on this machine, because it's going to run all the applications, all the services for VMware. So this installation will take time, so I'm pausing the recording here. Once the installation is done, we will resume from there, and we will do the next task which is required here. So the vCenter installation is very simple. You can do a next, and it will ask for few details you can put, and then you can go from there. So I'm pausing the recording for now. So now you can see the setup completed. We have successfully installed vCenter server, and now we can go and launch the vSphere web client. And it's asking for HTTPS is not installed, so certificate warning, proceed with the vCenter. Now we need to put the credential which we have entered during the installation. So administrator @vSphere.local, and the password for this account. Hit enter to login. So it will take some time to get you the home page. So here we are. Welcome to vSphere web client. Now you can see we have everything here. We like host and cluster, VMs, templates, storage, networking, everything is there. So good to go. And next task, also you can verify the CPU utilization is still 0%, but memory utilization is around 7.5 gigs, so it's taking this quite heavy RAM utilization. If you go here, you can services, you can see all the services are now running, lots of VMware services there. So if I type VMware, you can see we have around 20 services related to VMware. If I expand this, you can see we have inventory service, licensing service, also we have a certificate service, and the main service, which is VMware vCenter server service. So these are all the services which is required to have a fully functional VMware vCenter infrastructure. So go ahead, close this. And now the next step, we need to install a vCenter vSphere client. So this is a basically web-based client. So now we are going to install a vSphere client. Go to installation media, we have a vSphere client here, and double click on it. So it's extracting now. We can close this. So either we can use a web client to manage our vCenter infrastructure, or we can use a vSphere client also to manage our VMware vCenter infrastructure. So I'm installing now vSphere client. Click OK. Click next, and I accept the license term vSphere client 6.0. Click next, leave the default installation folder, install. Now it will install all the prerequisites, which is like Visual Basic, C++ to support for VMware vSphere client at the backend. So it will take some time. Now you can see we have a vSphere client icon on desktop. Go ahead, double click on it, and it's asking for credential, and you can put the server name or IP address. So I'm going to put the IP address, which 192.168.1.253, and the password which we are using, administrator @vSphere.local, and the password. It's asking for certificate, ignore it. We don't have installed certificate on vSphere server till now. So it's saying incorrect password. It's SPH. Try now. Now you can see we have logged in, and we are here on vCenter 6.horizon.co. we can go ahead and minimize this, and we can disconnect this, and we can go to next step. So we have verified login from vSphere web client and vSphere client, which is legacy client, and now we need to do some post installation task here. So let's do it. If I go to host and configuration, host and cluster, you will see here create a data center. So the data center is basically a virtual folder which is going to contain all the inventory object like host, virtual machines, template, everything. So go ahead, create one data center, call it like Horizon HO DC. Now we have a data center here. It's asking to add a host, so now we are going to do this, adding host, which is here, add ESXi host in cluster. So we'll do this later on. So the first thing we need to do now, which is add Active Directory identity with the vCenter server. So to do this, we need to go to home page. Now go to administrations, and here we have our access control, single sign-on information. So we need to go to click on configurations. You can see here we have a policy and identity source. So I'm going to add my domain in identity source. So go here and put the Active Directory integrated Windows authentication, and you can see the machine account. We have a credential, we have a permission to add this. So click OK, and now you can see horizon.co is added here, and it's type of Active Directory integrated Windows authentication, so it's good. Now we can check this is working or not, so we can go to users, and we can see here we have a few accounts here. So I'm going to add my vCenter admin account here to give the permission. So go to horizon.co. You can see here we have a vCenter admin, so this is the user account which we have fetching from Active Directory. And now click on host and cluster. You will go to on a vCenter. You can see here we have a vCenter, and select the vCenter, and then we need to click on manage, and there we have a tab which is called permissions, where we can define the permissions. For now you can see these accounts have a administrator rights, so I'm going to add my domain account, one of the domain accounts. So click on add button, plus button, click on add. Now you can see we have identity source origin. Go here, and now you can see vCenter admin account is there, so click on it and click OK, and then you can see which permission you want to assign: read only, administrator, no access. So I'm going to assign is the administrator and click OK, and now you can see this is added, vCenter admin is added as a administrator. And now we can go ahead and check with the login here. So if I go here and select the use Windows session credential login, and now we can get the access by domain account. So you can see here we got the access by domain account. So our next step is add the ESXi host to vCenter. So I'm going to add my ESXi host, which is ESXi-01 in my vCenter. So you can go here and select the data center, and then we have a add host. So I'm going to put the IP address. So before putting IP address on name, you need to make sure you have a DNS entry on your domain to resolve the name of the ESXi host. So I'm going to open a DNS, and here you can see in forward lookup zone we have an entry here, ESXi-01. So good to go, and I'm going to type here ESXi-01 and put the credential. Click next, and it's asking for thumbprint. Click yes, and then we need to go to here. You can see the information, it's vendor, model, and everything. So there was no virtual machine currently running, so click next, and you can assign the license key from here. If you have, you can install license key later on also. So go ahead, click next, and then we have a lockdown mode. If you want to enable it, you can go and enable this lockdown mode. So it's something you are going to disable users to log in remotely to this ESX host directly. So leave it default, click next, and here we can see where you are going to put. I'm going to put it in this data center, which is horizon-ho-dc. Click next, and we can go ahead and click finish. Now you can see here it's getting added, and now it's 80% done. It's retrieving the information. Now it's completed. We have our ESXi host here, and then you can go ahead and create virtual machine, and you can go and do the other settings also. Here you can see the mount, so you can put it like ESXi-01 local. Click OK, and now you can see all the details here, like what you have, like capacity free. You can go and add the storage. So next task, we can create a virtual machine on from a vCenter. So I'm going to give a demo of our virtual machine creation also. Click next, and we have a typical and custom operations. So we can go with the typical, and then you can type the name like demo. I'm putting demo. Click next, and where you want to save it here, and you can create a Linux machine on anything. So I'm going to select a Red Hat 7. Click next, and you can define the NIC, how many NICs you want to add to this virtual machine. So go with 1, and you have also adapter settings like which adapter you want to map. So now we have option for hard drive. Click next, and you can select your edit virtual machine setting before completion. So continue. Now you can see here we have multiple options, all the options available to modify the virtual machine settings. Click on finish. Now we can see here we have a one virtual machine which is called demo, and we can power on this machine and we can start doing stuff. So this is all about installation and configuration of VMware 6.0. So thank you for watching, and if you have any query or any question, you can reach out to us on our given contact details. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.